Hi everyone, welcome to the Practice and Master Excel YouTube channel. Today we'll be talking about VLOOKUP. In today's video, we'll define VLOOKUP, its formula. We would also look at some examples. We would fix common errors. Then we would also talk through some limitations of VLOOKUP. At the end of this video, we'll go through a file with practice exercises that you can use to practice VLOOKUP. There would also be the solutions file as well, so you can check the answers. The link would be in the description box below. Okay, let's get right into the video. VLOOKUP is used to find data in a table. Now VLOOKUP searches for data in one column of a table array, and then VLOOKUP then returns a value in another column of the table array on the same row. Okay, so let's look at the VLOOKUP formula. VLOOKUP formula takes in 4 parameters: the lookup value, the table array, the column index number, and the range lookup. Now we're going to look at an example, and with that example, we would also walk through the VLOOKUP formula. In this example, we have a table of employee information like the ID, employee name, job title, gross salary, and tax rate. So now let's assume that we have the employee name and we want to find the job title. Now imagine that this was a really long list. Instead of looking through the list manually to find the job title, VLOOKUP can give us the job title. So now let's build the formula. So I have the employee name here called Jane Austen. Now to build the VLOOKUP formula, we go equal to VLOOKUP. The first parameter, the lookup value, is the value that we're searching for, and in this case, the value is Jane Austen. So we click that. The table array is the subsection of the table that contains the value that we're searching for and also the value that we want to return. So in this case, the value that we're searching for is in the employee name column, which is column C, and the value that we want to return, which is the job title, is in column D. So we select that, and that would make our table array. So we have that, comma, the column index number. Now the column index number is the position on the table array, like the position number on the table array that contains the value that we want to return. In this table array, we have 2 columns, column 1 and column 2, like C and D. So what we want to return is the job title, and it's in column 2. So our column index number would be 2, comma. The last parameter is the range lookup. Now range lookup means two things. True means give me an approximate match. That is a match that is very close to the exact match. And false means give me the exact match. So in this case, we want like the exact match, so we go with false. Yes, and VLOOKUP gives us the title that we're searching for. So if I put in another employee name here, like Paloma Davis, I get the job title here, Paloma Davis. So now let's look at a more complex, or rather a more advanced example. So in this example, we'll try to do a VLOOKUP between 2 different Excel sheets. So on this sheet, I have a table with data in the ID column and the manager column. Now I need to find the rest of the columns. So I need to find the employee name, date of birth, the job title, age, pay, and employment period. Now we also have data in this table, the employee data. So as you can see, we have this whole data. Now the information that we need here, the information that we need to find here is present in this data. Like here, we can see the employee name, we can see the date of birth, and the job title as well. And then these other information can be derived from other cells, like the date, like the age can be gotten from the date of birth, and the employment period can be gotten from the start date and the end date. So for us to do this, firstly, the two tables need to have something in common, and that column then becomes our lookup value. So in this case, this table has ID, and this table has an ID column. So this then becomes our lookup value, since it's the thing that links the two tables, or rather, since it's what the two tables have in common. Yes. So let's view the VLOOKUP formula. We say equal to VLOOKUP, lookup value, comma, the table array. This is our lookup table, so this will be our table array. Note that in the table array, the column that contains the lookup value has to be the first column in the table array. So this is the first column. In our array, we have this comma. The employee name is on the second column, so this is 2, comma, false. And we have our answer. Then the date of birth, we go again. Lookup value, comma, table array with the ID as the first column. Go all the way until the date of birth, comma, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Position of date of birth is 6, comma, 0. And we have our values. So now we can drag this down so that it fills in automatically for the rest of the table. Do the same thing here. Now guys, I want you to, notice something. I don't know if you can see. So if I click this and I click this, you can see that the range is different. So in the first row, the range is from B2 to C10. Then when we drag the formula down, the range has changed from B3 to C11. Now this is something that Excel does automatically. It shifts the range as you drag down the value. Now our range is between B2 to C10. So for us to avoid losing the range, we can lock the range. Now how do we lock the range? For you to lock the range, you put the cursor in between the letter and the number, then you press function and F4. That locks the range. So we do that for the next one, press function and F4. Now our range is locked, and then we can then drag this down. So if you look, you can see that we now have the same range all through. Another thing that I want to talk about is this error message here. So now why do we have this error? So if we click it, we can see that our lookup value, which is B9, is, the ID column is our lookup value because this table and the employee data has the ID in common, if you remember. So in this case, for this row, our lookup value is 101, which is the ID on this row. Now, if we go to the employee data and look at the ID, we can see that there is no ID with the row 101. So VLOOKUP could not find our lookup value. Hence, it returns an error. So that's why we have this error. Now, to fix this error, we can set up an error message. So saying if we don't find the search value, then put this value instead. So we can use if error to do that. So after the equal to sign, we put if error. You can see here Excel is already showing us the formula. So the value, which is the VLOOKUP formula, comma, the error. So the error message. So we can say ID not found. We track this down. See? We now have our error message. So what this means is that instead of getting the hash NA error, anytime VLOOKUP checks the table and the ID is not found, we would always have this error instead. Guys, do you know that we can use two VLOOKUP statements in one formula? So we can do that in this case. In this case, we want to find the employment period. Now, in our data, we have the start date and the end date. The employment period is basically the VLOOKUP of the end date minus the VLOOKUP of the start date. So now let's write the formula. So that would be VLOOKUP, the lookup value, table array, this is position number 8, false, enter. So this is just the end date. Now minus the VLOOKUP of the start date. This table. This up until here. 7, false, or 0, whichever one works. Yes. So this is the employment period. This employment period is in days. Now, if you want to convert it to years, we just divide it by 365. So say this whole formula slash 365. Yes, that gives us the employment period in years. And then I just drag the formula down. And this will give us the employment period. Now, in the same way, we can also calculate the age. Age is the current date minus the date of birth. So we could use the current date, which is today, minus the date of birth, minus the VLOOKUP of the date of birth, or since it's here already. In the same way, we can also find the pay. So in our employee data, we have the gross salary and the tax rate. Pay is the gross salary minus tax. We have gross salary. So this minus our tax. How do we get tax? Tax is the tax rate times the gross salary. So the pay would then be the gross salary minus tax rate times gross salary. So that will give us this value. So guys, in the exercise file, I would have the formulas there so you can look at it. One limitation of VLOOKUP is that sometimes when there is a special character in the ID column, VLOOKUP would not be able to return a value. This is because VLOOKUP cannot handle certain special characters. Also, another thing is that your return value has to be in the table array. So let's assume that this is our table array. VLOOKUP cannot return any value that is not in the table array. So if this is your table array, VLOOKUP cannot return employee name, which is on column C, and VLOOKUP cannot return column H. So whatever you want to return has to be in the table array. Also, the column that contains your lookup value has to be the first column in the table array. So if this is the table array, then job title is the first column in our table array. So the lookup value has to be in the job title. Okay guys, thank you for staying till the end of this video. Now it's time for the hands-on practice. So in this file, I have a table in the sheet named practice data. So this is going to be like the lookup table that you use to get the values that we need. So in the sheet named exercise, I have some columns that already have data, and then there are some other columns here that we need to get from the table in practice data. So what you need to do is to put the VLOOKUP formula that would get all of this information. There are comments in the field names to guide you in case you get confused. So after you do the VLOOKUP formulas for all of these items, you then come down here and then you answer the following questions. Now the questions would be answered based on the VLOOKUP, based on the results of the VLOOKUP. Like in this case, what customer made the highest sales? We have the customer names and we have the total sales. So this would be the customer with the maximum of total sales. So if the highest total sale is 900, then the customer with 900 would be the answer. And this you select from the drop down here. And after you select that, there will be a score, so that way you know if the answer is correct or wrong. There would also be a solutions file attached as well. So these two files would be in the description box below. So I encourage you to practice with this file. This way you can really get strong in VLOOKUP and you can really master it. Thank you so much for staying till the end of this video. Please like the video, share and subscribe so that you can get notified of the latest videos and more practice exercises. See you in my next video.